Coming up on Around San Diego, local reaction is pouring in following that mass shooting at a school in Minnesota. What the Catholic Diocese of San Diego is asking. Plus, San Diego is facing hundreds of millions of dollars a year in projected federal funding cuts the action county leaders are now taking. And a tool that helps local law enforcement solve crimes may no longer be available to some agencies. We'll break down why. Hello and welcome. Thank you so much for joining us as we take you around San Diego. I'm CBS 8's Jenny Day, and I'll get you caught up on our top stories, and we'll look ahead at what's to come around San Diego. We begin with the support pouring in from San Diegans as police continue to investigate that horrific shooting at a Catholic school in Minneapolis. Police say a suspect opened fire on a mass full of Catholic school students, killing 2 young children and injuring more than a dozen others. Authorities confirm that the shooter died of a self-inflicted gunshot wound there at the scene. In response to the shooting, Bishop Michael Pham of the Catholic Diocese of San Diego is asking local parishes and schools to review their safety protocols and have a plan in place. In a statement, he says, quote, "Here in our diocese, the San Diego County Office of Education and the San Diego Police Department have gone out of their way to assist us in developing safety plans for our schools. We are grateful for their help, and in light of what happened in Minneapolis, we have asked pastors and principals to review their safety plans," end quote. San Diegans for Gun Prevention also put out a statement saying, quote, "Gun violence is a public health crisis with over 5,000 children and teenagers killed or wounded by guns in 2024. While students and teachers are being terrorized, our federal government is removing the very funding and resources that can help prevent these shootings," end quote. Here in San Diego, people have also attended masses in solidarity to honor those lives lost. And as the county faces hundreds of millions of dollars a year in projected federal funding cuts, local leaders are taking action to try to offset those losses. The Board of Supervisors just approved a policy change that would let the county access more of its financial reserves. The change would open up around $380 million to help offset those losses in federal funding for programs like Medi-Cal and nutrition assistance programs like SNAP. While supporters say this will ensure San Diegans maintain access to health care and food benefits, opponents say it will leave residents more vulnerable to unforeseen disasters like wildfires or floods.
Off a cliff, leaving so many communities vulnerable if there's an emergency, whether it's a flood, earthquake, fire, pandemic.
There are guardrails under this proposal to prevent unwise spending, but I do think that it is immoral to have the amount that we have in reserves while we are looking at the conditions of our communities.
Now, while this did just pass by a 3-2 vote, a second reading will be required in order to formally approve the policy change. We'll keep you posted. And the San Diego County Board of Supervisors also just approved new rules for youth detention centers. In a 4-1 vote, they voted to phase out pepper spray over the next 2 years, limit that use of solitary confinement, and require trauma-informed de-escalation training for probation officers. The chief probation officer now has 60 days to draft a plan. Supervisor Jim Desmond was, was against the plan, arguing eliminating pepper spray could pose safety risks for officers. All right, well, these may look like your average car batteries, but Border Patrol agents say that these devices are anything but normal. They are actually sophisticated containers for smuggling drugs. CBS 8's Steve Price gives us a unique look at those secret compartments.
Over the years, federal agents have seen a lot of creative ways that cartels have tried to smuggle drugs from Mexico into the U.S. But now, a new trend. They say they're seeing more and more right here in San Diego County. It looks like a normal operating car battery.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
But Border Patrol agent Joseph Rude says it's really this, a storage compartment for drugs, and they've seen it 4 times in 4 months here in the San Diego sector. batteries packed with cocaine, methamphetamine, and fentanyl.
We've definitely seen an increase in narcotics smuggling here in San Diego sector. Right now, we're kind of on track to break our previous records in both cocaine and methamphetamine seizures for the fiscal year.
When it comes to hiding drugs in vehicles, smugglers have made it clear nothing is off limits.
We've seen all kinds of different types of concealment methods, including using spare tires, baby car seats, makeshift compartments, things of those natures.
Border Patrol agents here in San Diego sector say confiscating narcotics is not their primary function. Immigration enforcement is. But with less migrants needing to be processed at the border, it's freeing up their time to look for drugs that make it past Customs and Border Protection officers and into our county.
We're able to conduct enforcement operations much more effectively, and we have more agents on the ground doing the jobs that we're supposed to do.
And the current administration has made it clear stopping drug trafficking is a top priority.
These narcotic smuggling organizations are considered by our government to be foreign terrorist organizations, and we're definitely putting a priority on stopping foreign terrorism threats in our country.
So whether it's trying to smuggle drugs through a tunnel like this one with lighting, ventilation, and a rail car system found under our border a couple of months ago, or hidden in various parts of a car like a battery, Border Patrol agents have a clear message for all involved in this illegal activity.
We are diligent, we are vigilant, and we will find you.
Steve Price, CBS 8.
Yeah, interesting to see, Steve. Thank you. Well, right now, local leaders are focused on new efforts to protect Afghan refugees in San Diego who fear deportation under the Trump administration. This week, Congressman Scott Peters spoke aboard the USS Midway Museum, saying America made promises to Afghan allies and must now honor them. Peters is now pushing bipartisan legislation for this at the federal level. He also called on the White House to reinstate programs that previously protected Afghan allies living in the U.S. and allowed their families to reunite with them here.
Breaking promises to our wartime allies does not make us safer. To the contrary, it makes us weaker and makes our warfighters less safe. It says that the United States is not a reliable and trustworthy partner. Why would populations help us next time we need aid abroad if this is how we treat them afterward?
Yeah, now these efforts come just months after federal agents arrested 33-year-old Syed Nasser at a San Diego courthouse in June. Nasser, who worked as a translator for the U.S. military in Afghanistan for years, remains in custody. Well, one of the nation's biggest automated license plate readers is halting work with federal agencies. CBS 8's Esmeralda Perez explains why.
Automated license plate readers capture cars as they drive by, helping law enforcement solve crimes, but they're also raising privacy concerns. Now, one company is pausing its work with federal agencies. License plate camera company Flock Safety is pausing its federal pilot programs. This decision follows an audit in Illinois that found U.S. Customs and Border Protection access data from Flock cameras. That's according to the Associated Press. The audit doesn't say whether CBP was looking for immigration-related information. The Trust SD Coalition is a group of local organizations that advocate for oversight of government surveillance technology. I spoke with Seth Hall from the coalition about the company's move.
They will claim to have fixed it somehow. They'll claim to have changed their system somehow. And then they will resume the contracts. And that is because Flock is a for-profit, mass surveillance company.
The CEO of Flock Safety says the company has no contracts with U.S. Department of Homeland Security agencies. However, he did acknowledge they have engaged in limited pilot programs with U.S. Customs and Border Protection and Homeland Security investigations to help fight human trafficking and fentanyl distribution. Seth Hall believes there are better ways to do that without using this technology.
And you can crack down on, horrendous crimes. We can crack down on human trafficking without spreading a network of 90,000 plus cameras to mass surveil all Americans across this country.
Flock Safety's website includes a transparency portal. It shows that several local police departments are using the cameras, including San Diego, Chula Vista, Escondido, and El Cajon. The police departments use the cameras to collect evidence after crimes happen. The cameras also provide real-time alerts on hot list vehicles to help catch wanted suspects. Flock Safety is now making changes to its system. The company says federal agencies will be labeled under a federal user category. Federal users will no longer be able to access statewide or nationwide lookups, and any audits, sharing requests, or data display will now clearly indicate when the user is a federal agency. I've reached out to the Department of Homeland Security and U.S. Customs and Border Protection for comment. When we hear back, we'll go ahead and update the online version of this story at cbs8.com. I'm Esmeralda Perez for CBS 8.
Esme, thank you. Well, now turning to the South Bay sewage crisis, the San Diego Regional Water Quality Control Board has approved a plan to expand treatment capacity at the South Bay International Wastewater Treatment Plant. The order authorizes the plant to treat an additional 10 million gallons of sewage per day, increasing daily capacity to 35 million gallons. Back in May, the EPA fast-tracked plans to repair and expand the plant, moving from a timeline of 2 years to 100 days. Coming up, a federal lawsuit is accusing the city of San Diego of unsafe living conditions at 2 safe sleeping camps. We'll hear from those who live there. Plus, stage 1 of Lemon Grove's project to rehouse its homeless population started this week. A closer look at its progress. Well, the city of Lemon Grove just started stage 1 of its project to get the nearly 100 people living near State Route 94 into housing. It's all part of a $9.4 million grant the city received back in March. People will first be given services like Medi-Cal or psychiatric help and then be rehoused in the community. One man who will soon have a place to call home for the first time in 3 years says he can't wait for housing.
I would say thank you from the bottom of my heart, really, thank you. It made me feel like a human being again.
Yeah, the city says this is just phase 1 of the project, as they will go zone by zone along Route 94 from the College Avenue exit to the 125. And right now, a federal lawsuit is accusing the city of San Diego of disability discrimination and poor living conditions at 2 safe sleeping campsites. The lawsuit.
When they brought in the new tents, they pulled up my plank, and there was about 20 rats ran out in a big old nest that was under my tent, under my floor.
Yeah, so you heard from him there. He's claiming that there's also a rat problem. So this lawsuit seeks a court-ordered remedy for, quote, inaccessible and inhumane conditions at 2 safe sleeping lots, O and B, right there near Balboa Park. Again, it claims that the camps lack adequate food, fail to provide proper shelter, and are uninhabitable for people living with disabilities. Again, that rat problem as well. But we are being told that the county is working with their vector control program to get those rats out. Well, San Diego County is launching a new income pilot program to help expecting mothers in high-risk communities. The initiative, called Born Well, is in partnership with the San Diego Foundation. A mother can be considered high risk for a variety of reasons, such as social and economic inequities. Officials say for high-risk groups, babies are 60 times more likely to be born prematurely. Now the county wants to provide $750 a month to 25 expectant mothers for 1 year. Participants will need a referral, though, through the county. Well, the brand new Terminal 1 at San Diego International Airport doesn't open for a few more weeks, but we did get a sneak peek. Coming up right after the break, we'll take a look and show you what you can expect. Welcome back to you. You are about to get a first look inside San Diego International Airport's new Terminal 1. Phase 1 of the nearly $4 billion project opens to the public in just a few weeks. But CBS 8's Shannon Handy took a tour first and has all those highlights.
Flights will start arriving into the new Terminal 1 on the night of September 22nd. It will be fully operational on September 23rd. Today, I got a glimpse of what this 1 million square foot space has to offer.
Though it's not open to the public yet, there's a lot of activity inside the brand new Terminal 1. Final touches are underway just weeks before it opens. Once it does, travelers will notice a big difference.
There's more space. It's light. It's bright. There are more concessions, just many more features that will make the passenger experience a little easier.
Under construction since December 2021, Phase 1 includes over 1 million square feet of space across 2 levels, nearly triple the size of the current Terminal 1. Once Phase B is complete in 2028, the entire terminal will include 30 gates. At its peak, the old Terminal 1 had 19.
The existing Terminal 1 is cramped. If you've been here, this is totally different than what we had in the existing Terminal 1.
But that doesn't necessarily mean more flights, since there's still only one runway. Regardless, airport spokesperson Nicole Hall says with a growing number of people passing through annually, it's an improvement San Diego has needed for years.
In 2024, coming through our entire airport, we had over 25 million people. So we know San Diego is growing.
At an estimated cost of $3.8 billion, the new Terminal 1 has added ticket counters and security checkpoints. It features art reminiscent of San Diego, like this jellyfish sculpture near the entrance. Check out this Torrey pine on the ceiling. There's also high-end bathrooms for both people and pets. And local eateries like Better Buzz, Ambrosia 15, and 900 Grados, a modern Mexican restaurant and bar created by skateboard legend Tony Hawk and celebrity chef Claudette Cepeda. Its decor includes skateboard ramps, which have yet to be painted. Guests can dine inside or outside on a terrace.
So we have a little bit of everything, offering people a real choice.
Before it officially opens on September 22nd, the public will have a chance to explore the new Terminal 1 during an open house on September 14th from 9 a.m. to noon. That's followed by a test run using pretend travelers to ensure everything is in order for the real thing.
We are so excited to bring San Diego a new Terminal 1.
Shannon Handy, CBS 8.
Shannon, thanks as always. Well, your weekend plans may have just gotten a little more expensive. Parking meters in Pacific Beach, Midtown, Uptown, and Downtown are now being enforced on Sundays. It's all part of a package of parking reforms that the City Council approved back in June, which also extended the meters' hours of operation. In addition to paying on Sundays, Pacific Beach meter hours will be extended by at least 2 hours. Meters will now be enforced from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. Monday through Sunday. Still ahead, thanks to your donations, we are working for kids. Rady Children's Hospital shares a big announcement. Plus, we don't experience coral reefs here in California because they're mostly in the tropics, but how you can now get an up-close look at them right here in San Diego. Well, we don't experience coral reefs here in California because they are mostly in the tropics, but you can get an up-close look at them in San Diego right now by going to the newly remodeled Birch Aquarium. Arnetta Iranpour took a dive into what their coral care team created out of a small fragment in this Earth 8 report.
The new Adam R. Scripps Living Seas Gallery is open now, and as you stroll through the 38 different habitats, be sure to give yourself extra time to take this all in.
There's right there.
Yeah.
There's one.
The tropical Pacific coral habitat showcases one of the most vibrant parts of our planet.
There's so much color and movement, and I think that really attracts folks. And then, of course, when they see Dory, that's huge for the kids.
The coral care team at Birch hauled in 4.5 tons of rock. Associate curator Fernando Nosratpur has been helping create exhibits at the Birch Aquarium since he started here in 1991.
Put filters together and gather fish, collect fish, and make the habitats.
An SDSU grad who's been growing coral, not just for Birch, but for other aquariums and for researchers at Scripps Institution of Oceanography.
Some of them were tiny fragments, maybe 1 inch, and now they've grown huge. This one that's forming a table here was just about 4 inches in diameter when we got it about 6-7 years ago.
In the wild, when coral grows, it provides more room for fish and other animals to live. They like hiding in the many nooks and crannies to avoid predators.
Tell me what it's like for you to be here and see this exhibit coming through and actually here now.
To have this new exhibit is exciting for us. I think the goal was to try to make it immersive, so you feel like you are diving and get to see a reef.
For a truly immersive experience, watch where you step As you're taking in all the sights, also listen for the sounds. This right here is the sound of pistol shrimp, the crackling. That's how they sound underwater.
Well, you might not be able to see or hear the current. Fernando made sure the water flow is similar to what these corals would need in the open ocean.
You'll see corals that are branching and that require a lot of light, a lot of water flow, and as you move through, you'll go to the lagoon end, and so you see a giant clam.
Fun fact, corals are animals, relatives of jellyfish and sea anemone.
Each one of these corals has tiny little polyps, just like a sea anemone, but they're really tiny. So they can also grab food out of the water, plankton.
The bright colors come from the algae in their tissue.
What do you hope this teaches people that come by and look and learn about it?
Well, our hope is that they see the colors, the beauty, and the diversity of life in here, and how beautiful these coral reefs are. And when you hear about coral bleaching or problems with different reefs, hopefully it reminds you of what it can be and what we might be able to do to help save coral reefs.
This exhibit is proof when given a healthy environment, more growth will come.
I think a year from now it'll be very different, and then 5 years from now, just amazing, yeah.
Another reason to keep coming back.
Exactly, exactly, yeah, yeah.
I love it.
Arnetta Iranpour reporting, just incredible. And get this, coral covers less than 1% of the seafloor, but they support about 25% of all marine species. Incredible. CBS 8 viewers stepped up in a huge way during Tuesday's 13-hour Working for Kids Give-a-thon, raising nearly $500,000 to launch Rady Children's Hospital's resident canine therapy program. Donations poured in from across San Diego County. Individual gifts ranged from monthly pledges to major donations, while corporate sponsors and matching donors like the Blue Gator Foundation provided crucial support in those final hours. While the dogs themselves are donated by canine companions in Oceanside, your contributions will fund the handler's salary and program maintenance to keep this service running for years to come.
Our San Diego community is so generous, and once CBS stood up and said we want to make this happen, this is a goal, and we're going to work with Rady Children's to be able to build this program and sustain it for years to come. We knew we were going to get there, and it was so exciting.
Yeah, it could start within 6 months. Thank you so much again for your generosity. Take good care.